I know you're excited about this.
Yes.
Timothy Howls. And by the way, when I say that for the website, it's exactly the way Lindsay did it. Timothy, HOWLS.com, by the way. Timothy Howls. Lindsay, take it away.
Well, thank you guys. I'm extra excited about today's guest. Not only because actually he's a client of one of my dear friends and publicists, but more importantly, he's got one of the coolest voices I've heard lately. He's got this new solo project that's gritty and poetic Americana. It's kind of stuff we live for around here. He's also lived 100 creative lives in one, I feel like. I mean, that is a truest compliment. You know him best as Tim Lopez, the guitarist and founding member of the Plain White T's. Hey there, Delilah. Yes, that one. The one that brought us that amazing gem and so many others. He's earned multi-platinum success, 2 Grammy noms along the way. But today, guys, I'm going to say even more importantly, Plain White T's are really freaking cool. But a solo project is really freaking cooler. He's stepping into a whole new chapter as Timothy Howls, a name inspired by apparently by the Latin root of Lopez, meaning wolf, which I kind of dig that because it fits. There's a lone wolf Jim Howl at the Moon vibe to what he's doing now, fusing rock Americana country and the soul searching storytelling. He's based in Austin by way of Santa Barbara. He's a multi-instrumentalist. He's a producer, a dreamer. And yes, you might have also seen him as the heartthrob star of NBC's Ready for Love. I'm sure he loves talking about that. Where he met his wife.
That one in there.
I can't not. I'm going to give you shit about that, of course.
Yeah, okay, bring it.
He knows how to tell a story.
That was an epic intro. Thank you.
Well, welcome to the show, my new friend and yours, Timothy Howls. Good morning, friend.
Morning. Good morning. How are you guys?
We're really good. We're so excited to have you here, and we're gonna get to meet you in person next week. Do you know that? Have you been told that you're going to be okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're meeting up. You're going to be like down by Lake Austin?
Yes, we're going to be at. Yes, I'll give the address to you off air, but yes, we will be there. Barton Creek area. Is that an area or is that just the resort? Did I just give the address by saying that? That's fine.
Good.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to. But let's dive in today because I want to make sure, Timothy, that we separate, because next week you'll be on with us. We Should Write, and that's about the healing power of writing. So we'll go deeper into not the process of writing, but like the life that had to be lived in order to go out and write these songs. You know,
yeah, very cool.
So let's start here though, because your time in Plain White T's, and which is epic. You're still a member of that band, but you're exploring the solo nature, which you've done for a while now with this new music coming out. But there's that's a tough. I don't know. I haven't done that, but that's a tough thing to separate the two. And just start here with when you write something for Plain White T's versus when you work on music for them versus you personally. How do you separate? Is Timothy Howls and Timothy Howls of Plain White T's, are they two different people, or is this just an extension of you? I guess I will say.
I think the clearest way to put it is that when I joined Plain White T's, I'm not a founding member. I've been in that band now for probably 20 to 21 years ish. But that's not, I mean, they started in 1997, so I'm not an original member even at 21 years.
Wow.
Which sounds insane to say out loud.
Yeah.
But when I joined, Tom, who is, we have 2 singers in the band, and he does most of the writing, and he had already several records under his belt when I joined. So I kind of felt like in order to get a song cut on a T's album, I did have to kind of fit my writing into the mold that he had created for that band a little, right? Like I do bring my own style of writing to that band. But if it was too far outside of the brand, it was never going to make it on an album, right? So,
yeah.
So yes, I think that the Howls project is a purer form of my own writing. You know, it's whatever it is that I'm feeling or whatever it is that I'm inspired by. and there's just no boundary. I think once you get the full length album from me, you'll see it. I mean, it kind of pushes and pulls. It's got like some Tom Petty influenced Americana rock stuff. It's got stuff that's a little bit more pop country. And then you guys have Smithereens, right? Did they send that song over to you?
They did. And
Yeah.
I both love you and hate you because that song is in my brain 24/7. Like it is on, it's so earwormy. So congrats on that, but also screw you for keeping me awake every night for the past week.
That's all you can hope for out of a song, really.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that one I feel like is kind of like rock Americana. So I've got kind of a wide canvas that I'm painting, but it's working. So
Yeah.
Let me kind of follow that up, by the way. And you made a mention of something, and Lindsay knows. Both Lindsay and I have our own different obsessions. I always love people with what I call institutional knowledge, kind of summoning all the ghosts from all of their loves and all their music sort of past. Especially when you have this extended period where you're working with other people, and then you get a chance to kind of set your own course while simultaneously not breaking away from that original group of friends. It's interesting, too, because you talked about the Petty influences, the Americana influences. There's actually a whole bunch of earlier stuff percolating through here. We often use rock music to cover up the actual ghosts who are lurking underneath the surface. When you're creating these songs, are you consciously aware? I don't mean stealing, but I mean like, oh, wow, I love this person so much. And we'll use Petty as the example. I love Petty so much that he can't help, even though he's gone, continuing to percolate up into the music that I create. Or any other people like that. Do you follow me?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and the cool thing is, the band that I have out here is a 6-piece band. Everybody is influenced, uniquely from other artists. Our guitarist is a huge David Gilmour fan.
Of course he
so
is. Of course he is.
Kind of, Pink Floyd style guitar solos over a country song, and you're not getting like double stop, Brad Paisley style riffs. It's I'll write a country song and he'll play like his guitar style, which does sound more like Pink Floyd, which is awesome because I've kind of compiled this band full of guys that don't really know country and Americana. That's not where they grew up. And so we're getting a really cool sound out of this mixture of musicians. But yes, I mean, in the studio, this is a kind of like an odd piece of my story, but the very first record I ever purchased was Tom Petty, Wildflowers. And it's still oddly one of my favorite records of all time. And in the studio, I'll play that record up against a song that we're recording because we're chasing just like the sonic like perfection that the band and Rick Rubin put together on Wildflowers. So I'm always kind of, even if it's not feeling musical stylings, it's like, well, the recording needs to sound as pure as this one does. At least that's the goal. I mean, I'm not Tom Petty, and we're not working with Rick. That's at least like a bar we're trying to set,
Well, then, because speaking on that term, like going from the band to others, when you've done that thing that most artists dream of, you've topped the charts, you've done the Grammys, the Screaming Fans, all the things. So then when you shift to this, is there any part of it that somewhat feels like starting over, or does it more feel like you're, I guess, finally showing up as your whole self?
It frustratingly completely feels like starting over.
Yeah.
But,
wow.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
I think obviously, in your intro, you drop like, okay, you've done all this with Plain White Tees and done some TV shows or whatever. But some of that stuff almost like feels like, and don't get me wrong, those are all blessings. I met my wife on the reality show that I did, but but I'll post something about a new song that I've written, or, you know, a new song that we're releasing. And I can tell that a huge number of my Instagram followers are like, why don't you post something of you and Jenna? You know, like they don't care about the country Americana project I've got. They're like reality TV fans, and that's cool. You know, I'm happy that people are interested, but at the same time, it's like when you're trying to build something from the ground up again, it really does feel like starting over. Like I came up obviously in the time of working songs to radio and having your label be such an important part of your team. And now there's so many artists that are doing everything independent, and radio sometimes is not a factor at all. It's TikTok. And
Ugh.
if you're going to sign with a label, they want to see that you have TikTok followers and that they're engaged. And it's like, man, I feel too old to be setting up my phone and doing the TikTok thing over and over and over
my God.
again.
So
when,
crash.
you know, when you've got 3 kids that are hanging off your leg and want to hang out, it's like, I can't be like, hey, I got to post 5 TikTok videos today. You know, so
It's prior. Well, and also
I'd
people
rather be playing a show. You know.
Yeah, for sure. And so, yeah, because you've been doing this long enough where you know the days of pre and post, whereas a lot of these newer artists, they've come up, all they know is being discovered or whatever on TikTok. And what
Right.
other people need to understand, like you said, some people want to see those other facets of you, but then when it comes to social media, I would think it's sort of overwhelming to be like, okay, it takes all kinds of fans, right? But it's also like you've got your plate, the people that are a fan of you because of the tease, the fan of you people that are a fan of you now because of the new music, and then the people that are a fan of you, the reality star, the married man, all those things. So it's like, which do I promote? Do I need 3 separate accounts? And who has time for that? Like, right? That's got to be so overwhelming.
Yeah. I mean, those are incredible tools, but I don't know if this is just too old school, the way of thinking, but part of me is almost thinking that my model for growing the Howls project is not, I mean, maybe something will happen on social media, but for the most part, I'm thinking back to when we started Plain White Tees, where we lived in a van and went city to city and played shows, and the best way to get somebody to come back and bring their friends was for you to put on a great show. And when you have TikTok fans, there's no guarantee that they're going to buy a ticket because they get access to you 24/7 if you're constantly posting. And then it's like, well, you know, I've seen that guy all day long. Do I need to go buy a ticket for his show? For me, I'm thinking, I just want to be in front of a live audience and have these songs just bash you over the head, you know? So, that's kind of what we're doing out here in Austin. I do play the social media game a little bit, and I know I need to, but, I care more about the live performance element and making sure that the record is great, you know?
Good.
I wanted to kind of make an insight I had just the other day. I was kind of interested to bounce this off of you. So Lindsay and I just did a studio groundbreaking over here. And, you know, Lindsay, by the way, throws a hell of a party as well. And I realized something that, you know, with not having big staffs anymore, you talk about the idea of not having a label anymore. I'll tell you, Lindsay, part of the reason we pulled off what we pulled off the other night was because I got a big family. And I got a lot of friends, and I was kind of curious, as you've seen, and you've really seen the transition in music. I mean, you go from the label days and all of that kind of stuff to this world of TikTok. And a number of very, very powerful and wealthy people have suggested that because of this, that IRL has become even more powerful, and that the people who have networks and associations of friends and family who love them, it's getting really old school in the sense that if you really want to kind of make all this function, you've got to have a lot of people in the real world, not just followers on Facebook or Instagram or, of course, TikTok, but you've got to have a great support group of people who love you now more so than ever because there aren't a lot of suits around taking care of that kind of stuff. Is that part of your discovery? I mean, you talk about the idea that this album is a labor of love. Has that been kind of your experience with this to some degree? It's okay if the answer is no.
You're talking about just my close circle of friends and family?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
in-
I mean, so the guys in the band, three of them are brothers, and they all are from the church that we attend on Sundays. So they all are part of like the like worship team at the church. So they play in the band and they kind of handle all the technical side of the music at the church we attend. And then because we have, you know, the church connection, all of the wives of these guys, and my wife and my kids and their kids are always together. And then there's an extended group from church as well. So there's like about 7 families that are hanging out a lot. But 3 of them are in the band and they come to all the shows. And of course they support what we're doing. And my wife, you know, kind of quickly learned what she was getting into when we were dating. You know, I was always in and out of town playing with Plain White T's, and she's kind of learned the ropes on handling and running the household by herself at times, and knows how passionate I am about this project and wants it to work and loves the music. So yeah, I mean, that stuff is huge. And then compiling, you know, on the business side, making sure your manager loves what it is that you're doing and is highly invested and wants the best for you as a human being, not just, you know, dollar signs is key. And so, yeah, we're putting together a good crew of people.
Well, and I've seen some footage of you guys, of you playing and the band there in Austin and some different venues, and that makes sense that you have that tight, like that camaraderie. Like this isn't a hired guns kind of thing. This is guys, I'm going to guess, that are in it to win it with you, because there's a very big difference we do in Nashville. I'm a songwriter here in Nashville, and we do. I didn't do the band thing. I did the solo thing right away. And if I could go back, I would do it the other way around. I think just because it's a very different thing when people are on stage with you. I mean, I have a couple guys that are like my peeps, but you end up with those hired guns. It's obviously a very different energy, and it feels like, and I can hear this both in your music, Timothy, as well as. Do I call you Timothy or Tim? I know Timothy is the name on the project, but I feel like I'm being that I'm being too professional. I'm going to call you T-Dog. T-Dog. But it feels like you can hear in your music as well as on stage. There's like a family element, and does some of that play into where you are in life? I mean, you've got 3 kids. You're happily married, which I stress that because music business is obviously it could go multiple ways. Do you feel like you're bringing a sense of family and camaraderie into everything you do these days as the grown-up functioning man that you
are? Yeah, I think so. I mean, honestly, I would really hate to swap any of these guys with a hired gun. I just don't think, you know, it's the friendship element and creating you know, I'll write the songs and then immediately bring the tune to one of their houses. We'll sit in the garage, and the 3 brothers usually show up, help kind of bring the song to life a little bit, start adding their parts. And then when we get in studio, it's like a lot of those parts are really steering the production. So, that's not something that you can get. I mean, of course, you can go into in Nashville and hire some studio session guys who probably rip, you know.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have consistency where these 6 people are creating all the music and you're not changing in and out hired guns, I think it's just creating our own sound. And like you said, they're family. So, yeah, there's no substitute for that on stage. They are almost like, in a weird way, a safety net. I don't think I would lean on a hired gun the way I lean on them. So,
yeah.
Unbelievably, Lindsay, we're out of time.
No, well, dang it. Well, but you know what? That was almost 30 minutes. But Tim Howls, I get to see you in just a couple days, and I'm so excited that we'll get to, and we have a whole hour next week, whether you like it or not. We're pinning you down, and we can go really, really deep, and people will be able to hear more to dive in about this project because it's great. You can go to timothyhowls.com. We'll post it. The song Smithereens is so great. It's so great. It's not, if you haven't heard it yet, it's not what you're expecting, guys. And I mean that in the best of ways. It's genreless, which is to me the biggest compliment I can say. Your manager might not like me saying that, but I say that in a way that you can't put a stamp on it. It's except that it's you, and I can feel that, and I don't even know you yet. So I feel like I know you through your music. So thank you for giving us time. We'll dive deeper next week. Jim, fun guy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I appreciate the time, guys. Thanks so much for having me.
You got it. TimothyHowls.com, HOWLS.com. Guys, check out Smith. It's great. Oh, get out of here, man. We're headed to the Last Empty Places next, Timothy. You're always welcome to come any place like that with us. Thank you, sir. Be safe. Be good.
See you next week.
Okay, guys. Have a good one.
You too. So nice. What a good guy.
What a good guy.